I'm Tobias Wood with the Kansas Board of Regents, and I'm here with Gretchen Thum, Assistant Professor of Journalism and Media Communications at Johnson County Community College. So Gretchen, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, I've been working here at the college for about 27 years, and I started here in public relations and advertising in our marketing communications office. Started teaching in 1994. And now I teach all of our strategic communications classes within the journalism department, which includes public relations, fundamentals of advertising, promotional writing, and then I also teach mass media.
Very good. Well, tell me some about the internship that you did.
The internship was wonderful. The reason that I wanted to do it is advertising is changing faster than they can write textbooks. By the time a textbook is published, the advertising world and the way they deliver persuasive messages has changed. So textbooks are immediately out of date. I definitely, so it's a discipline that's different from, say, biology or chemistry or history, American history, that doesn't change. And so in order to keep on top of the field, I do a lot of reading and conferences and so forth, but it's not the same as being on site in an advertising agency and finding out what's happening currently and how they're doing things.
Very good. So what attracted you to this particular internship?
Well, VML has been a great friend of the strategic communications part of the journalism department for a long time. They have included us. I sit on a diversity committee there. They have very nicely allowed us to bring students there for tours every semester. And John Cook, who's the global CEO, is just a rock star. He is, we gave him a big award through our department for all the work that he has done filtering through his team. Anyway, VML was founded as a digital advertising agency, meaning that while all the other ad agencies were doing traditional media, and this was 25 years ago, if you'll think about what was happening 25 years ago, the internet was not a big deal then. And so they were on the cutting edge of online media campaigns, digital messaging, and now they're obviously a full-service agency. They're one of the top 10 in the country, believe it or not. But they are still the strongest, in my opinion, in digital work, which is the area I wanted to learn about. I wanted to learn about social media marketing, digital ad campaigns that are fully online. And so that was definitely the place to go.
So that's pretty much what made you decide on that.
Definitely, yeah, and the connection and my friendship with John Cook.
Well, very good. So how did you find this particular internship?
It wasn't established. I simply asked John. I told him, again, we were friends before, and I said, would it be possible for me and a colleague, could I bring two of us out for a week of a faculty internship? And he immediately said yes, didn't even think about it. And the next thing I knew, one of his senior team members contacted us and placed Barbara and me, excuse me, on the Wendy's account team.
Very good. So do you have suggestions for other faculty on how they can utilize their contacts?
Well, I think just ask. I was a little nervous about it because VML had never done anything like this before.
Right.
They have great internships for students and had never done a faculty one. But I figured all they could say was no.
Yeah.
And VML, everything they do is really over the top perfect. And so I also knew that if they had us in, they were not going to let us down. And they had an amazing internship planned out. I mean, like every single day was Monday, 8 to 9, meeting with the social media people, 9 to 10, going over case studies of award-winning campaigns, 10 to 11, meeting with research people.
So that was something that they had prepared for you?
Absolutely.
So that might be something that we might add to our process of potential requests of the internship host. in our process?
Asking them to plan it out.
Yeah, you think that would be something that would be helpful if you had already known about that prior to the asking?
You know, honestly, probably not, because it was a lot of work for them.
I see.
I think that it probably depends on the internship. Some internships may simply be shadowing the professionals around,
Right.
and that would be totally fine too.
Mm-hmm.
They put a lot more work into it
Well, very good.
than perhaps others.
Well, that also means you got more out of it than perhaps others.
Absolutely.
Very good.
Yeah.
So tell me about the application or the follow-up process.
Oh, easy. Completely easy. I already had it figured out, and then I don't even remember. I remember it was painless. It seems like I just filled out a form and sent it in, and KBOR said great. And then the follow-up, I had kept very copious notes my whole time, every single meeting, because it was so packed, and just for myself. And so the follow-up process, the report, was very easy because I just referred back to my notes and just wrote out my notes.
Well, very good. Do you have any suggestions for that process?
Just to let more people know about it. Because, again, I've been teaching here forever, and I did not know about this. Because Barb and I work together. She's in a completely different department than me. She's in marketing management. But we like to collaborate on different projects because she brings a business marketing perspective. I bring the creative Stratcom perspective. And so she told me about it, and I'd never even heard about it. So more marketing, maybe.
We can do that. What experiences did you have during the internship that you'd like to share?
Oh boy, hard to even say. I would say perhaps the most interesting for me was, well, we were on the Most Perfect account. We were on Wendy's. And the target consumer for Wendy's tends to be a younger demographic, which uses social media more than, say, I do as a consumer. And so we learned a lot from what they call their community engagement executive and their social media manager, because they do, I didn't realize all this digital advertising going on for this particular client geared towards this particular demographic. And I don't know if you read about the Twitter campaign with Wendy's, where they will, a customer may say something about, oh, my fries were, they'll tweet out, my fries were terrible, they were cold. And there's someone sitting right there that gets that tweet, and they will come back with a response a little bit snarky, a little bit funny. And people started following these Twitter exchanges because they were entertaining.
Right. And that was the intent.
Yeah, totally the intent. And I didn't even know this was happening. So just an introduction to how you reach, I mean, I think I want to say their demographic, their target consumer is a male 17 to 28 years of age. That's who eats all those Baconators.
So these experiences, how are you able to bring those back to the classroom?
Oh, completely. I learned in a week more about digital ad campaigns than I had in reviewing tons of Ad Age articles and reading textbooks. So, especially for the age of my students, when they go out working in the advertising world, they need to know about digital advertising and online campaigns. And so I bring in case studies. I can talk intelligently about this area of advertising.
Yeah.
So I use it all the time.
Well, very good. What was most surprising about the internship that you did?
I would say the most surprising thing, it was how incredibly young all the people at work there are. The average age of the people that work at VML is 28 years old. It's a very high energy, long work hours agency. And it's not just VML, it's ad agencies in general. And so that was surprising to me, and it was also really good to know, because that means great opportunities for my students.
Yeah.
Great opportunities. It means that they can walk in and do all kinds of stuff, because sometimes my students feel that they're so young that how can I ever get in? And this was very concrete information that they can walk in and they know more about this area than anybody my age.
And you can share it because you saw it.
Absolutely. Yeah, Barbara and I felt, for the first time, we felt, like I felt like I was the mom of everybody there. It was very strange.
Very good. What was one thing that you wished you would have known prior to starting your internship? I honestly can't think of anything. Oh, very good. We'll move on.
And I knew pretty much about BML before we went there.
Right. Well, yeah, you said you had the friendly content.
Yes, right.
Very good. So tell me about some of the biggest rewards that you gained.
The biggest rewards were just feeling like I'm really up on what's going on in the field. And feeling like I have these connections, these incredible connections with these professional people. Let's see, we did this summer of, was it 16, I guess. Is that right? Summer of 16. And in the fall of 16, I called up the account executive of the Wendy's campaign and asked if she would come talk to students on our campus to expose all the students. I'd taken little groups down there for a tour, but I wanted to have a big event where everyone in the college could come. And she brought 6 people with her. I didn't expect her to bring 6 people representing the Wendy's team. And they gave an amazing presentation, and we had about 150 people show up. Community people, students, of course, faculty, staff members, really well received. I forgot what the question was.
Biggest reward.
Oh, yeah. So, so that was really rewarding. And since then, I went to another 2-day conference at BML, which was amazing. It was free. They invited me because of the connection. And I brought another colleague with me, somebody else from a different area, from another person from marketing management, not Barb, but somebody else. So we got 2 full days of free education. The students, the 150 people, get an hour and a half of free education. And I'm bringing another group.
Well, it seems like you made some connections between BML and Johnson County Community College.
Absolutely, yes.
It's exponentially growing the footprint.
Right, and I don't know if you're aware of this, Tobias, but I also nominated BML for one of those KBOR business education partnerships.
Right.
And so we had John out here, and Joe Sopcich, Dr. Sopcich, presented it to him, and that was also a good, it was really great in cementing that partnership.
Yeah. Good community building.
It really is, and I am a big proponent of education industry partnerships.
Well, very good. What would you suggest that others do to prepare for an internship?
I would say look around the community and pick out an industry leader, a person in business or an organization in business that you think you could learn something from, and don't be afraid to approach them. I would kind of do anything for my students, and so I look at it as I'm doing it for my students, it is for me, but it's also for my students, and so I have no hesitation whatsoever in asking anything for the students. So I would just say, look around and ask. And I think I would be hard pressed to think that many people would say no.
Yeah.
Because, everybody loves students, and everybody loves our college, I think.
Well, plus it's also, if you get the right company, they might be helping potential employees.
Absolutely. That's a great point. Right. Because VML is always saying, be sure, and as I keep up with my students when they go to the 4-year institutions, and they're always saying, make sure that you send those really strong seniors our way, and I do.
Oh, very good.
So,
is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, just that it was a great experience. Doesn't even compare to professional conferences. It was a great experience. Again, we had a wonderful partner, but I would encourage all faculty to try to take advantage of this if they possibly can. It was wonderful.
And you had mentioned a collaboration that helped out Well, we're really glad that you were able to speak with us.
Yes, yes. Well, it was really interesting just seeing, but Barbara and I, one thing I do want to say, having Barbara and I do it together was, I think, even stronger than if I'd done it by myself, for two reasons. Number one, frankly, it took the pressure off the VML professionals, because there were a couple of times where in advertising you have a lot of client pressure. And there were a couple of times where a client would call and say they had an issue and they had to talk to the professional right now.
Right.
And so the VML people, even though they had this nice little schedule for us, would have to step out for maybe 15 minutes. Barbara and I were together. It was no big deal for them to do that. And then she and I would compare notes and share our different perspectives from a marketing business perspective and a journalism strategic communications
As opposed
perspective.
to just sitting
Yes.
alone somewhere waiting for that professional to come back.
Right.
That's great.
Right. So I that would be one thing I would recommend, is try to do it with a colleague. It was more fun. It was easier for the industry person, and I think you get more out of it if you have a colleague to collaborate with.
Well, that's certainly something you can add to the process.
Yeah.
Well, very good. Well, I appreciate your time.
Yeah, sure. Nice
Very
speaking
good.
with you.